Awesome. Okay. Well, our first speaker is Debora De Napoli. All right. Life Cycle Project is a documentary film that chronicles Debora De Napoli's personal journey from cubicle dweller to mountain warrior. It was created 2 years ago when Debora was awaiting results to see if she too carried the same deadly ovarian cancer gene mutation that she lost 5 family members to, including her mother. Debora decided that she would mountain bike from peak to peak across the Canadian Rockies, from Fernie, BC to Kananaskis, Alberta, in an effort to raise awareness for ovarian cancer and to answer the question, where are the women in mountain bike films? It was a huge undertaking for the recreational rider and first-time filmmaker, but she had made sure she was prepared for everything. Film crew, ride logistics, donors, sponsors, training, everything. Everything except a serious injury. Please join me in welcoming Debora De Napoli.
We were supposed to hug.
Afterwards.
Hi. So 5 weeks prior to embarking on the life cycle journey, 7 North Shore firefighters had to rescue me off the side of Mount Seymour. I had put my foot down, misplacing it, thinking that I knew where the ground was, and I didn't, and I hyperextended and I twisted my knee. I only have 7 minutes, don't screw me up. I was hoping that it was nothing, but I was sure that it was something. When I initially created the project, the idea was to move and inspire people and to have a presence as a woman in an adventure film. I was grieving the loss of my mom, and I was also dealing with my own genetic fate. I picked the Rockies because it was a special place, and I knew that it would be epic, and if I was going to make a film about my journey, it was going to be epic. In my original vision, I came up with this crazy idea. I wanted to bike the Rockies from peak to peak, and I was going to potentially look like one of those Red Bull commercials. The only problem was I didn't really ride, and I wasn't a dude. But I thought like one. See, story didn't even cross my mind at the time. So I certainly couldn't deliver on the bigger, harder, faster, but regardless, it was a huge undertaking, and I enrolled everyone that I knew who could help me out, including bribing a friend who was also a really good rider, and that's really important when you do something like that, is that you have to have somebody who's better than you. But he was also a really good cameraman, and I got him to come with me instead of going on his honeymoon, so that was pretty cool. Except I bribed him, telling him that he would be riding with me, and clearly he's not riding. Regardless, he and his wife believed in me, as did everyone else who came on board with the project. But now with this injury, everything would have to change. I remember thinking that I could give up right now, and everyone would understand why, and I wouldn't be a failure. I also knew that this was fear and doubt talking to me, as it did on every challenge. So I realized that the project was actually about the desire to find out something about myself, and at the time I didn't know what that was. And then I remembered why I was doing this. See, hearing you've torn ligaments in your knee could never compare to hearing the words that you have stage 4 ovarian cancer. My motto became, no mountain is bigger than life, and I pushed on. I let go of all expectations of the outcome of the project, what the film would look like, and the question, would I even be able to make it up that first mountain climb in 6 weeks' time? So training was put on hold and recovery began. And although I didn't know how I'd pull it off, I was pretty determined. I knew that I had a starting point and a finishing point, and that it would still be okay even if I didn't make it up that first climb, as long as I got out there and I gave it my best. I imagined my new synopsis for my film would read, the journey that sends this cubicle dweller mountain biking up and falling down all harrowing summits. But on July 21st, 2012, I made my way to Fernie, BC, and the Life Cycle Project journey began. I had to, thank you. I had to alter a few things, pretty much everything, except the route. I knew that it would still be visually stunning and that I wanted to hit as many epics as possible. 7 summits in Roslyn, Keystone Basin in Revelstoke, and the Jumping Pound in Kananaskis. I was definitely slow, and I certainly felt challenged by my injury, but I was still excited and determined, and I was having fun, and I was riding my bike. The whole journey would take about 14 days, and on day 10, I had 3 days left, and things started to act up for me. My knee was killing me, the mountain was pushing me, and my riding was all over the place. I lost my confidence, and I was on the side of a mountain wishing my way down. But I did go down it, and it was amazing. Things changed for me after that moment, just pushing myself and just being in this beautiful place. I remembered why I chose to ride and why I love riding. But no matter how much I rode, I couldn't get the thought that I may have ovarian cancer or the cancer gene out of my head. It was always with me. I started realizing that there was a story here, a real story, and that I would have to let people in. I'd have to be vulnerable to be able to connect and make a real difference. I'd have to speak from that deep place. It was very different to what I originally imagined, and it was all unfolding, and it was very beautiful. As I was nearing Lake Louise, I remembered that this is a place where I spent my last days with my mom before she had passed away, and it brought back so many wonderful memories. I had no idea that I would actually end up in that exact same spot, and I'd realized that I had actually come full circle for whatever that meant. It just made sense to me. And as I began to ride up the final trail, excitement and pride and gratitude filled me up as I knew I was almost complete and that I was on my last mountain. As I gained the ridge on top of Jumping Pound in Kananaskis, and I raised my bike over my head, I had realized that I had done it. Up until Life Cycle, I had actually lived my life like I was a dead person after my mom had left. I needed this journey to remind me that I was still alive and that no matter what the genetic results are, that I was going to be okay. And on August 1st, 2012, I completed the ride. And 3 months later, I got my results. And I do not carry the gene mutation. If I had set out with my original intentions, this would be a very different topic. This would actually be a very different talk. And I would actually be a very different person, and I probably wouldn't even be on this stage here with you right now. But because the project had now changed from this visual piece to a personal story, which is really important, I received a full scholarship to attend the Adventure Filmmakers Workshop in Banff, where I was mentored by the industry's top professionals. Life Cycle Project is now a very touching personal story with an amazing backdrop of the Rockies, and it has a beautiful message. It premiered as a finalist at the Banff International Mountain Film Festival just this past October, and recently at the Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival a couple weeks ago to about 700 people. And it's now touring the world. My message is that if you let go of your expectations and just be open to the journey, no matter what that journey is, you're gonna get something greater than you ever imagined. I got my life back. Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing. You know, in a sense, you kind of answered everything that I was going to ask you, but the one thing that really struck me was deep place. You know, just going to that deep place. And, you know, really, I guess over those 18 months, in a sense, you said you were going to be a different person if this answer was different, but I don't know if you would have been. I think you've gone there and come back. But really, I suppose it's like, really, what have you learned over the last 18 months? I mean, maybe say it to everyone again.
I just learned to, like I said, just to give up on your expectations and really be open to what's out there. 'cause you'll be amazed. I had no idea that I'd be where I'm at right now and where the project would be. And it's not just the project, it's who I am as myself right now. So it's important to play big.
Big round of applause, everybody. Amazing. Debora De Napoli.